Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. All right. So there is finally an update, and you can tell they are purposely trying to stall when it comes down to this woman and getting her trial, getting her trial started. It's like they're going above and beyond trying to make sure she doesn't get to go in a courtroom. And her case really should have came up as soon as the McMichaels case was over. She should have been put on trial. Okay, immediately she should have been put on trial. And the fact that they are delaying it all the way up until now, that says a lot. This is what privilege looks like, y'all. This is exactly what it looks like. You know, they can break the law and then stall all day and all night on getting these people in the courtroom and putting them on trial. And if you remember, this is what they do when, for a long time, when white cops would kill an unarmed black man or woman, they would act like the investigation need to go on for 2-3 years before we get to a trial. They did that in Elijah McClain's case. They took over 3 years to put people on trial. And this is what they generally do. But if it's the other way around, they sure didn't take 3 years to put Muhammad Noor on trial. They got around to him immediately. But Jackie Johnson, in my opinion, y'all, is an accomplice. Because when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered by the McMichaels, and she immediately tried not to get the police deeply involved. She blocked them from arresting them, and she began to help cover it all up to get her friends off the hook, who were the McMichaels. Okay. And Roddy, Brian, yeah, all of them. But that's what she did. And the fact that she did everything she could to make sure there was no arrest, she should have gotten arrested immediately. She should have been removed from office and jailed. But in this country, when it comes down to certain people, the law doesn't work swiftly, does it? Oh, no, it works at a lethargic state, but it sure don't work swiftly as they claim it should. And because she's a DA, she gets to push this trial out over and over. It's been multiple changes to the date. If there was justice, as soon as the McMichaels and Brian was sentenced, she should have went on trial immediately after that. But you see what they do when you have the complexion with the protection. So let's get into this story. This is finally an update, because they sure don't like putting this out in the news at all. Charges will stand against ex-DA charged in Aubrey's case. So what happened was her lawyers tried to put a motion to dismiss in, and the judge rejected it, as it should be rejected. So a judge has refused to dismiss misconduct charges against a former Georgia prosecutor accused of hindering the investigation into the 2020 killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery has been dead nearly 4 years, y'all. And this woman still didn't go on trial. A black jogger. So we know what happened. He was jogging down the street, and the McMichaels souped up some crime scenario in their head, just like most of their people do. And they gunned this man down for no reason other than racism. Trust me, if it was a white man jogging down the street under the same circumstances, they would not have felt anything was wrong. So, a one-page ruling by senior judge John R. Turner comes 20 months after the defense attorneys for former DA Jackie Johnson filed a legal motion arguing the case against her should be scrapped for lack of evidence. Oh no, there's plenty of evidence. They got all of the recorded phone calls that she had with the McMichaels. They got their phone records because the Greg McMichael was calling her over and over and over. So they had multiple conversations. So I don't know what lack of evidence she's talking about. And the fact that they did not get arrested in February when this happened. Remember, they didn't get arrested until May. She had everything to do with that. Johnson served as top prosecutor for coastal Glenn County when white men in pickup trucks chased and killed Aubrey on February 23rd, 2020, after they spotted the young man running in their neighborhood. It is not illegal for a Black man to jog in your neighborhood. It is not illegal. A fatal pursuit initiated by Greg McMichael, a retired investigator. And remember, he worked for Johnson. He worked for her. His adult son, Travis McMichael, fired the gunshot blast that left a 25-year-old Aubrey dead in the streets, dead from jogging, y'all. Jogging while Black. So a neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, joined the chase and recorded the cell phone video of the killing. And y'all know, do you know they showed the video thinking it was going to exonerate them? They really thought the video footage of them chasing down Ahmaud Arbery in the streets like he was some kind of animal was going to clear their names. And that video actually help jail them. That right there just goes to show you, they think that them being white automatically gets them out of everything, including murder. That's why they showed that video and believed it was going to exonerate them. And it didn't. It backfired. So in November of 2021, the McMichaels and Bryan were found guilty of murder in Glenn County Superior Court. And I will never forget that. They were crying. And Roddy Bryan, boy, you could really see his face welling up, where a judge sentenced them to life in prison. A jury in U.S. District Court convicted all three of federal hate crime charges in February of 2022. The McMichaels received a second life term during sentencing in August, while Bryan, he got 35 years in prison. Now, remember, Bryan is also going on trial for SA of a few women that have come forward and filed charges on him. So he should have another trial coming up for that. So the 35 years ultimately can add up to way more time behind bars. Greg McMichael is incarcerated at the Augusta State Medical Prison. More than 2 months passed before McMichaels and Bryan were arrested on murder charges in Aubreys Death. Now, that was because of the public outcry. See, if the public didn't raise hell and we weren't on social media doing videos, bringing awareness about Ahmaud Arbery, they probably would never have gotten arrested if this whole thing was silent. The McMichaels each received a second life term during the sentencing in August. Okay, so now Aubrey's death, which happened after Brian's graphic video was leaked onto and on the online social media, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation took over the case from local police. So that's how they got involved, thanks to everybody on social media that was sharing the videos and creating the videos. And you never know until you see incidents like this how powerful social media really is. In fact, I will go as far as saying social media now drives the news, not mainstream news. Mainstream news do not drive the news in the country. Social media does. So a grand jury indicted Johnson in connection with Aubrey's death in September of 2021, charging her with a felony count of violating her oath of office and with hindering a law enforcement investigation, a misdemeanor. Yes, she interfered by trying not to let the police arrest them. That's what she did. And she knows she's wrong, y'all. When people do stuff like this, they are fully aware that they're wrong, but if they think they can get away with putting that out there, they're going to try. The case against Johnson moved at a crawl for more than 2 years. It sure did. And that's unlikely to change in the near future. One of Johnson's defense attorneys, Brian Steele, is representing the rapper Young Thug. All right, so they're using the excuse that he's representing Young Thug as a means of slowing down her case, and that shouldn't happen. So you mean to tell me a lawyer can't juggle more than one case? Is that what they're trying to say? Because that's what they're trying to say, and I call BS on that one. So the trial itself is expected to last several months more. They're talking about for Young Thug. So the lawyer is incapable of handling, or he doesn't have other lawyers in his office that can take over this case. I don't believe that. I think y'all using that as an excuse to keep Jackie Johnson free. So anyway, the case against Johnson is being prosecuted by Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr's office. The indictment alleges that Johnson used her office to try to protect the McMichaels and told Glenn County police officers the day of the shooting that they should not arrest Travis McMichael, who was the trigger man against Ahmaud Arbery. So Johnson has pled not guilty and denied wrongdoing, saying she immediately recused herself from the case involving Aubreys Death because Greg McMichael was a former employee, which is a lie. She didn't. That's why they were able to stay out for 2 months. She did not recuse herself. By the time she did recuse herself, it was too late and she lost the election for DA because the public was mad at her. So she lost her position as the DA, and she did not immediately recuse herself. That's a lie. So her defense attorneys filed a motion in March of 2022 seeking to dismiss the case. They argued they're trying to say there was not enough evidence to support the charge of hindering police. Prosecutors responded in May of 2022 with a court filing that listed 16 calls between Johnson and Greg McMichaels in the days and weeks following the shooting. 16 phone calls. So how is that you recused yourself immediately? She didn't. One of the calls lasted 21 minutes, according to court documents. By the time she was indicted, Johnson had already been voted out of office. She has said the controversy over her handling of Aubrey's killing played a role in her losing reelection in 2020. You didn't deserve to have office. Anytime you're going to cover up a murder, you didn't deserve to have office. I'm glad you got voted out. Following her indictment, she turned herself in to Glenn County Jail and was released without having to pay a cash bond. Wouldn't that be nice when people in our community get arrested and they can just skip on out of there within an hour with no bond? Wouldn't that be nice? It happened for her. While Johnson's case has idled, Aubrey's killers have been convicted and sentenced in state and federal courts. No, I'm against her having any preferential treatment. See, once she was out of office, they should have immediately moved on her and got her placed behind bars. She doesn't deserve to be free for what she did, her role in this whole thing. She don't deserve to be free at all. So, it just goes to show you if you are, and I'm sure she knows a lot of the judges. If she was a DA, these judges and defense attorneys, she knows all of them. She was a prosecutor. She's probably familiar with a lot of the courts around in that area and personally know a lot of these judges. And that could be the driving reason why she's not behind bars to this very day, because she got those connections. This woman got the baggiest looking eyes I have ever seen on anybody in my life. I've seen people with baggy eyes, but her eyes, oof, man, she got some baggy ass looking eyes. Oh, well, look, they put our people in jail for no crime. And on top of that, they got to go to jail right away for crimes they never committed. They don't get to sit out for 2, 3 months and almost 4 years after the crime. As of this coming February, Ahmaud Arbery has been dead for 4 years. And Jackie Johnson is still free. She's still free 4 years later. But these folks want us to believe that their system works. Yeah, I guess it works in the way you rigged it up, I suppose. Mhm. Yeah, no, no, yeah, she should have been locked up years ago, y'all. She should have been locked up years ago. And because she is familiar with so many people in the court system out there, I just hope they don't give her some remedial sentence like house arrest or a year behind bars and then 2 years on probation. Some easy crap that she really truly don't deserve at all. But we always got to keep in mind that the entire legal system, especially on the criminal side, is heavily rigged. And see, what happened to Ahmaud Arbery is another reason why reparations are due. Too many of our people have been minding their business out on these streets all across America, and they have no weapon, nothing, and have lost their lives just minding their own business. And that's another reason for reparations. We have so many people that have been killed unarmed in this country, you practically lose count of it. Mm, mm, mm. So, y'all, and I want to also take the opportunity to thank those of you that have given donations through PayPal and Cash App. I do appreciate it. And, I wish there were better ways, especially in Cash App, for me to thank you. But all it allows me to do is put like a heart or a thumbs up, little emoji, but that's it. They don't allow you to write a personal thank you, which I wish they will change in the near future where we can literally say thank you. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I thank you all for being here. I have another live stream coming up on Derek Chauvin. So there's an update on him. And the funny part is they got several people listed as the person that jabbed him multiple times. So you can tell whoever it is, they are not one of us. They look like Jackie Johnson, and that's why they're trying to cause so much confusion on who did it. It's very obvious. If it was one of us, they would have put that picture out in lightning speed. And the fact that their name, when you go pull it up, it got multiple different people. That right there, they're trying to use deception to throw us off. So we know whoever it is, they look like Jackie Johnson for sure. So, y'all, I hope I see you at my next live stream. If not, if you're not able to be there, have a wonderful day. Shalom, family.